Circle is directed by James Ponsell, and this movie tells the story of a young girl who's portrayed by Emma Watson, who gets a job at this company that is a mix between Google and Twitter. And everyone that works at this company is encouraged to put out on the internet what they're currently feeling, and they're supposed to experience things with other people. They're always constantly supposed to be interacting with people by using technology. And Tom Hanks' character is kind of the head honcho at this new corporation, and he unveils this new product that are these little tiny cameras that they're going to place everywhere so they can view everything that's going on in the world at one instantaneous point. Going into this movie, I was kind of intrigued. You have a lot of talented people. You have Tom Hanks, Emma Watson, John Boyega, Bill Paxton's last movie. But this is a terrible film. This movie is horrible. I felt really betrayed by this film because what I was marketed and how this movie should have actually been done is you're supposed to have this company that seems really glossy and seems really glamorous. But as the movie unfolds, you find how corrupt this company is, and maybe Tom Hanks is not as good as the guy as you might think he is. This movie doesn't do any of that. It has zero depth to it. It takes a premise that's not only very topical and relevant, but it's also an interesting one. Everybody today has some type of social media. Everybody is taking pictures of their food and posting it online. Everybody is tweeting what their immediate thoughts on anything are. People are using Periscope. People are vlogging on YouTube. Our lives are inundated with the internet. And it takes that premise and that idea and it does nothing with it. Whereas The Circle could have been a very interesting and thought-provoking movie, it is just boring. This movie does something weird. This film is a conundrum because it feels like a bad version of Black Mirror. And it feels like a bad episode of a bad version of Black Mirror. This is like a 2-hour-long film? I have no idea. It felt like this was a 2.5-hour-long film. But what this movie should have done is either be a small episode of a show like Black Mirror, or it should have been drawn out into being like 13 episodes of like a really short, tight Netflix series. Because what this film does is it expounds upon things that don't need expounded upon. It takes time with things that I don't give a crap about. As far as performances go, I think almost everybody in this film was terrible. For some reason, they tell Emma Watson to do an American accent, and I felt like the entire time she was just trying to do an American accent and wasn't even focusing on her performance at all. She is horrendous in this film. And John Boyega, again, has an American accent, but thankfully he's actually good at doing that, but he is given nothing to do in this movie. Like nearly this entire film, I think he has like 3 scenes of dialogue, but the entire time he's just sitting in the corner like this, just watching our characters talk. They don't really do much with Tom Hanks. I thought he was actually going to be the bad guy in this film, and that's something rare because we don't really get to see Tom Hanks, America's dad, be a bad guy. But I didn't really get any sense of him being the antagonist to this film. I actually felt like he didn't really do much wrong, aside from maybe one line at the end where it even hints that he's a bad person. And when he says that line, it just made me mad. That line that he just gave could have been the premise of your entire movie. Because there's this whole point to this film where they're like, we have multiple government officials, we have politicians that have agreed to commit to our company. They could have made it to where Tom Hanks has some dirt on these government officials and maybe these politicians don't really want to join the circle, but Tom Hanks is kind of bending their arm into doing it. But they don't really delve into that at all. Like I said, this film has zero depth to it. Like I said, this movie proposes the question, where do we draw the line between public knowledge and private life? Unfortunately, all it does is just propose the question. It doesn't even bother answering it. Instead, it focuses on things like TED Talks and conferences to everybody, to where there's like 4 to 5 scenes where Tom Hanks or Emma Watson just stands in front of an audience and talks to them for like 10 minutes. They dragged poor Bill Paxton into this, and he was by far the best part of this movie. But I felt bad for him. This is his last film as this crap movie. There's really not a lot to say about this film. It's poorly written, the dialogue is crap, the acting's almost worse. It's just wasted potential of a great topical premise, and it does absolutely nothing with it. It has zero depth to it. So did you guys see The Circle? I really hope you didn't for your sake, but if you happen to, leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And thank you guys for watching today. I hope you liked today's video, and if you did, click on the link down below, subscribe to my channel, see more movie reviews and movie related things. And guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.